Ladies and gentlemen, I am absolutely disgusted, dusted and disgusted with this particular story because of what happened to this little girl. But even more so, I think we need to be very careful about the words that we use, right? And I think that we also have to be very careful about propping up people just because of whatever they were born as, whether you're born a male, whether you're born a woman. I think we have to be very careful giving people praise and unjust, like praise that they didn't earn, right? Unjust, not non-due praise, I guess. I don't know how you say that. I'm not a very smart man. But nonetheless, I'm going to say some things that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities. And also the story's going to have some details that are probably going to turn your stomach. If you can't handle that, I get it if you need to exit, but that's your official disclaimer, okay? But these two dummies, excuse me. These two drunken, weird looking, funny looking individuals that y'all see on my screen deserve multiple life prison terms, and let me explain why. After nearly a year of investigating, authorities in Oregon, so this story comes out of Oregon, so Oregon takes the L for this story because it's ridiculous. They identified a young girl whose remains were stuffed in a duffel bag and discarded in a riverbank next to a highway rest area. I'm not sure why death in children and plastic bags and bathtubs are like synonymous. Every time a child ends up dead, murdered, or abused, there's always some type of trash bag, duffel bag, and a bathtub involved in the story, is it not? Because it seems like these stories just continue to repeat themselves. But the point is that we probably just need to keep our eyes open. If we see something, we got to report people like this. I don't know how it got to this point. I'm not sure where this baby's dad is, where the other family members are, but let me tell you some more about this story. The girl's mother, let me see if I can get her face up on the screen, if you can call it a face. 28-year-old Shauna Browning, who looks like she's a good 55, middle-aged, at 28, life has really just kicked her in the ass and stomped her while she was down. My Lord. Woman, what happened to your face? Oh my goodness. Oh, soggy cereal face looking ass broad. Golly. That's 28-year-old Shauna Browning, and she has the nerve and the unmitigated gall to have a girlfriend, not a father that helped create this child. No. Now I get it. I know we live in the LGBTQRSTWYZ sensitive world, right? I get it. I understand that. And I respect people who want to do what they do behind closed doors. But I just think it's awfully weird how when you put these two alleged beings together, a mother and a mother, you would think it would make a great mother, right? You know how when you put, I can't remember, oh, I'm not good at math. I'm about to screw this joke up. But you know how when you put two things together of the same thing, how it should create a positive. Well, in this case, when you put two females together, the highest rate of domestic violence is actually in female-female relationships. I'm not sure if you guys know that. You can actually look it up. It's a very true thing. So nonetheless, her girlfriend, who's 33 years old, let me see if I can get her face on the screen. And y'all tell me, I don't know if y'all can see it from here. Does she look like she's 38? Excuse me, not 38, 33. Wow, whoa. Golly, on the right-hand side, she's 33? Come on, y'all. Look, I know y'all looking at the pictures. I know y'all might think I'm being a little bit harsh. It looked like somebody took Scotch Guard to her face and just, like a Brillo pad, I'm sorry, not a Scotch, but a Brillo pad and just scratched up her face. My Lord. She at least 63 over there on the right-hand side. 63, 64, 33? Like, where are y'all? What planet do y'all age on? My goodness. 33. I remember I was still skinny at 33, but we'll keep going. Her name is Lauren Harrison, and they were arrested Tuesday in Detroit, Michigan during a traffic stop and charged with aggravated murder for killing 9-year-old Haley Coblentz. That baby is 9 years old. Now, while they're saying out of Detroit, Michigan, I don't know if they ran or what the case is, but that's what the story is. But that little girl is 9 years old. Let me see if I can get a solo shot of her by herself up here. So what you guys are looking at here is actually a sketch of her. The sketch of her is because they couldn't find her. All these missing person stories, and I've told you guys, where there's smoke, there's fire. And with most of these stories, when children come up missing, in my humble opinion, I think it's best to look at the people who last had custody of the kid as suspects. Y'all catch that? Suspects, not grieving parents, not because they're sad. No, no, no. I think they need to be scrutinized and judged, because how do you lose an entire 9-year-old from underneath your nose? 2 adults, let alone the relationship, whatever you want to call that bull crap. But 2 grown adults taking care of 1 child and you allegedly lose this kid? No, 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 no. Detectives with the State Police Major Crimes Unit on December 10th of 2020 responded to a phone call about a female child's remains being discovered in Lincoln County by a man who had been walking in the area. Investigators say that the body had been concealed inside of a duffel bag, then hidden in a forest. That was a lonely death, a painful death, and an immensely scary death for this 9-year-old innocent baby to go through, especially knowing that her mother had something to do with it. The person who's supposed to love you unconditionally, supposed to be your rock, supposed to be your queen, right? The queens. And this is how we treat our children? Y'all might want to brace yourselves for this. Based on the level of decomposition, it was determined that the child had been dead for 30 to 60 days prior to being found. Just dumped and left. Matter of fact, let me go back real quick. I could actually show y'all a bigger picture of this right here if y'all want to see it. But this is actually a flyer of different people who ended up going missing. But if you want me to show you that, I can. Otherwise, it's just one of many flyers that they had to create. Based on the conditions of the remains, investigators were not able to determine much about the victim, saying they did not know her race, her appearance, or any other identifying characteristics, which is the reason why they had to draw that sketch. They were taking a guess. And that's a horrible... Could you imagine what kind of nightmares the person who had to draw that picture based on what the dead body looked like? I wouldn't want that job. Would not want that job. Detectives and experts from the Oregon State Medical Examiner's Office collected samples from the remains, which were sent to the Parabon Nano Labs, which specializes in DNA phenotyping services for law enforcement or organizations for testing. The reason why that's important is because if they find any type of DNA, then that can help them tie these criminals to these cases. So I'm very, very thankful that we have that type of technology. I'm going to tell you guys this, and I don't know if I'm going to offend anybody. I'm glad that law enforcement DNA testing has made it possible that we can actually get criminals arrested for the effed up things that they do to these kids. Beautiful, wonderful. We put that much money into that and we get back an amazing result. I think it's, I really don't know if I should say this, but do y'all know how long we've been donating money to breast cancer awareness? Excuse me. Yeah, not only that, but to cancer research. at least since I've been growing up, since the 80s. I feel like cancer should have been eradicated by now. What do I know? I don't know nothing. I'm not a scientist. Just throwing it out there. I'm just thankful that we got some technology in the police and law enforcement that's getting us some cases and people locked up by way of DNA tie. Just saying, it seems like that's money well spent. Just throwing it out there. Please don't get mad. I know I might have said something inflammatory. Let's keep going. The lab on October the 4th notified investigators that the child had been identified as Coblentz, the missing girl, who was just 9 years old at the time of her death. Investigators say Coblentz was born in Colorado, but had been living in Oregon and various other places in the Pacific Northwest with her biological mother and her mother's longtime partner since 2015. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So they got together 3 years prior to this baby's birth. Wait a minute. No. Yeah, no. After the little girl was 3. Sorry, my math is bad. Or is it? Let me see. So let's go back. 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, that's right. So the little girl was already 3 years old by the time they got together. My math is not good either. Anyway, police said that the child was never enrolled in school and had been reported missing by the 2 women. Investigators with the Oregon State Police said that they located Browning and Harrison at a Detroit motel. So now I guess we need to include in most of these dead children, missing children stories, duffel bags and trash cans, bathtubs, hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. And it's always the nastiest, filthiest, raggediest, falling apartness, bed bugness, roach infested, drug infested, prostitution infested, hotel motels that these people end up going to. And you have to ask yourself this. If you don't have enough money to put a roof over your own head, why do you have children? Matter of fact, you'd also have to ask yourself this. How is it that 2 grown female adults, between the 2 of them and at least one of them being able to take advantage of the benefits that the little girl would give them, Section 8 and food stamps, at least those 2 things, you couldn't get a place? In 6 years between the both of you dummies? I mean women? They were staying at a hotel with the help, and they were located at a hotel with the help of the Detroit FBI and took them into custody without incident on a warrant issued in Lincoln County, Oregon. According to the report, and matter of fact, I'm getting this article, I'm trying to call it, by lawandcrime.com. So thank you, Law and Crime. They've been really, really awesome with their support. According to the report from the Oregonian, Browning and Harrison were homeless. These BITCHs were homeless. I'm going to throw a little fun fact out there for you guys. Because my motorcycle club and the AFC, we're actually going to be going to Feed the Homeless next Saturday. Or is it this Saturday? The 11th? Yeah, this Saturday actually. We're going to actually be participating to Feed the Homeless. And I'm going to tell you guys, I do have a heart for the homeless. But here's the thing. The majority of homeless people, if you look at the numbers, are mostly men. Why? Because nobody helps men. There are no programs, there are no organizations that help get homeless men off the streets the same way that they do for women. It's just the difference. When we talk about equality, we all understand that there's a difference. And most of the time, the people will use the reason because women have children. So if that's the case, then with this mother, not her, but the other person, having a kid, how are they both homeless when you have all of these opportunities and all of these things that actually help keep you off the streets? You have all of these things to keep you off the street. And I say, if you have all of this help, you got a bundle of things that can help you. Anything from prophylactics to, what did they call that? Birth control, to abortion, to adoption, to safe haven, to homeless shelters, to housing programs. Should I keep going? And it's not all situations. Please don't ever hit me with that. It's not all. It's too damn easy for people like this to be able to have the proper support so that they can help these children grow up and become something great. Why am I bringing that up? Because I'm saying that to say that these women ain't shit. They are just horrible people. I don't care what their issue is. When you make this level of bad choice to just be like, you know what, my life doesn't matter and I'm going to screw up my life and I'm going to screw up this kid's life and I don't ever want to grow up and become nothing significant, you shouldn't be a parent. And I don't even understand why they were able to keep this kid for this long. They say that they were homeless for the last 5 years. The girl is 9 years old. Who wants to make an excuse for them? Anybody? Like, the chat is quite open. If you guys want to type in a comment, if you have an objection to what I'm saying, feel free to type it in the comment section. I don't want to just have people just going with what I say and that's just the end of it. If you have a difference of opinion, let me know. I just don't think there's an excuse here. And I think what will help make America a lot better is if we cut the excuses and make people help themselves and fix themselves. Sink or swim. That's what I believe actually works in our society. They were homeless and roaming for the past 5 years around Pacific Northwest, and they were panhandling. Browning had reportedly been estranged from her family for many years due to having suffered through a traumatic childhood, a relative told. We never blamed her for not being in touch anymore. Shauna had a very, very rough life, her aunt said. Another aunt reportedly told the newspaper that the family doesn't know who Koblentz's father is. So you just having sex with random people, it's just that easy to have a kid? Just pick a random man, be like, oh, you got a dick, I'll take it. Is that the way it works? You go through 9 months of being pregnant, go through hours of labor, bring a kid into this world, knowing that the mortality rate is really high. You could almost die from giving birth. Y'all know what the mortality rate is in the United States of America? It's high, y'all. It's very high. There is a high probability you could die given childbirth. It's a choice. You don't even know who the dad is? The child's last name was taken from Browning's girlfriend at the time. Oh, my Lord. Wow. Browning's father reportedly told the news that he hadn't spoken to his daughter since 2015 and hadn't seen her since 2014. Now, the two women are being held at the Wayne County Jail with no bail. Good. They don't need a bail. They were scheduled to make their first court appearance on Wednesday as authorities work on having them extradited back to Oregon to stand trial. They're facing a maximum sentence of life in prison or the death penalty. So I'm assuming that they had to have found some information on this child, some blunt force or something like that, but they absolutely know that this child was murdered. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's move on with the 2 news videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And I know we might have some people that have a difference of opinion, but like I said, I want everybody to have an opinion, but I want you guys to always remember, you might look at it one way, but I want you to remember that when you have children, it can't be any more about you and your problems and your issues. You absolutely have to be able to provide for children. If not, then you should not be a parent, period. What's up, Bree Bree? What's up, Cecilia? What's going on? How y'all doing? Shout out to Bree Bree in the building. What up, what up? But again, I want y'all to remember, we have to put the children first. All right, let's get it.
Well, tonight authorities released the identity of a child whose remains were found almost a year ago inside a duffel bag near a rest stop in Lincoln City at 10 o'clock. Here on Portland CW, I'm Jeff Gianola.
And I'm Elizabeth Din. And tonight, 2 women behind bars facing charges for aggravated murder in this case. Oregon State Police traveled to Michigan where the FBI arrested those women.
Jenny Young spoke with troopers about these developments.
This is just so heartbreaking because no child deserves this kind of ending.
For almost a year, detectives with Oregon State Police worked to figure out the name of a little girl whose body was stuffed inside a duffel bag and hidden in a forest near this rest stop in Lincoln County.
We estimated that she had been dead 30 to 60 days prior to the discovery.
I'm going to rewind that so y'all can hear that again. And if you guys are watching, do me a favor. For the number of people that we have watching, if y'all would just look down, close the chat, look at that number, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up. We have to have 1 thumb up for everybody that's watching. If y'all would do that and help us out, that would be awesome, okay? Thank you.
That she had been dead 30 to 60 days prior to the discovery. Obviously, at that point, it's very difficult to identify a child.
OSP Captain Stephanie Bigman says with DNA evidence and the help of genealogy databases, the remains were identified back in October as those of 9-year-old Haley Coblentz.
As a law enforcement officer, you're horrified and really just want to do everything you can to find those who are responsible for this.
We learned with the help of federal authorities in Michigan, OSP detectives were able to track down Haley's biological mother, 29-year-old Shauna Browning, and Browning's girlfriend, 34-year-old Lauren Harrison. On Tuesday, the 2 women were arrested for aggravated murder.
We were able to locate them with the help of the FBI Detroit. And yesterday, they did a traffic stop on them and took them both into custody.
Captain Bigman says OSP also executed a search warrant on the couple's motel room and vehicle. We found out little Haley was born in Colorado, and since 2015, she lived with Browning and Harrison in several different places in Oregon and the Pacific Northwest. Investigators say she was never reported missing.
That's Jenny Young reporting. Now, we're still working to find out exactly what happened to Haley. We learned at least one of the women was interviewed by OSP after being taken into custody. They tell us it's not clear when those women will be brought back here to Oregon to face justice.
In this case, it really probably would have gone cold had we not got the genealogy and the DNA and been able to identify who the mother was.
Over time, investigators worked to piece together the disturbing, tragic mystery of the little girl whose remains were found here on December 10th, 2020, in a duffel bag around the Van Duzer Scenic Corridor in Lincoln County.
The child probably had been dead 30 to 60 days before being discovered. It was very difficult to identify who the child was.
Captain Stephanie Bigman with the Oregon State Police says they worked with the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, but Haley Coblentz was never reported missing.
Children don't have a lot of history in the world. They don't have necessarily a big stamp. She was not in any database. Nobody knew that she was missing.
On top of that, Captain Bigman said more than 150 tips led nowhere.
It's a very heavily wooded area. There's a lot of traffic that goes through that area. people traveling inland to the coast.
Max Kirkendall, former editor for the News Guard in Lincoln City, followed the early stages of this investigation.
I constantly got emails from community members saying, please stick with this case. We got to find out more about what happened to her, and kind of they're really seeking justice for her.
Based on the condition of the remains, the state medical examiner's office and detectives sent DNA samples to Paraben Nanolabs.
Initially, they were able to tell us age, hazel and brown eyes, black or brown hair, but then using some genetic information, they were able to actually identify who she was.
After that identification on October 4th of this year, law enforcement arrested and charged the victim's mother, Shauna Browning, and mother's girlfriend, Lauren Harrison, for her murder on Tuesday, a step towards closure in this case.
When we deal with any kind of a child victim, it really hits us hard because they're really the most innocent of everybody out there.
Although tips didn't lead to the arrests in this case, and it was solely based on the DNA evidence, Captain Bigman says they are important. She says sometimes the smallest amount of information can lead to a conclusion.
All right, now thank you guys so much for listening to that news story. Let me cut this down just a little bit. But I'm going to tell you guys this. I don't care what they were going through. She should have never been able to, like, with the family knowing that this mother, this alleged mother had issues, I don't understand how they weren't able to take custody. And let me tell you guys this. I don't know how most people feel about this, but I'm going to say it. We'll see where we get. If you are homeless, I don't think you should be allowed to have the children. I think if you have a family member, a grandmother, grandparents, or even the biological father, if they have a better living situation, if they are proven to be qualified caretakers, I think they should be allowed to have the kids until you get your stuff together. But I know that's kind of a loaded statement. I know that has a lot of different moving parts to it, but that's just my initial opinion. If you are homeless, can't provide for yourself, how the hell you going to provide for kids that need it? They need to eat, they need to sleep, they need a protected roof over their head, they need stability. They don't have that. Now, if you don't give that to yourself, you haven't worked in the past, 20, 30 years to make yourself into something? I don't think you should be allowed to be a parent just because you have the bodily functions that allow you to be able to do so. If we wouldn't allow a man to do it, why the hell would we allow these people to do this to this little girl? And because all the issues they had going on, they took their problems and their issues out on this baby. That's not right. And do they need life in prison? Yes, they do. It makes it very hard to be against the death penalty, don't it? Y'all can be honest with me. It makes it very hard to be against the death penalty when you got people and you do something like that to this little angel. This baby could not speak for herself, nor could she defend herself, and to be murdered, stuffed in a duffel bag like an old pair of dirty shoes and a towel, and then just left in the woods in the forest? What kind of life and death is that? Haley deserves justice, and I hope she absolutely gets the maximum justice under law, whatever it means. Okay? Thank you guys so much for listening, and let me put her picture back up here. Haley, young princess, R.I.P. This world absolutely failed you. She'll get an opportunity to meet Jesus. She'll be at his feet. Those two evil women hopefully will be meeting their maker in hell soon. Hell is not full of child murderers and abusers yet. Let's keep them down there. Thank you guys so much for listening to this particular story with an open mind as well as an open heart. Thank you. Now, I have a couple more stories, if you guys do not mind, that I want to tell and give my personal, humble opinion to. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you guys will be a little bit, I don't know how to say it, but I think you guys will appreciate this. This story is going to feature one of our most prominent hashtags, and I think most people in the chat ought to know what this hashtag is. Hashtag date thugs, date death. There is a reason why I continue to push that message and put my life and my reputation on the line to push a message to get women who are dating these thugs to understand that we have to do better. If not for ourselves, for our children. If you're single and you're dating, I get you do what you want to do. But when you're bringing children into this world, I think you lose all rights and responsibilities to do whatever you want to do and be around whoever you want to be around, especially when children are involved. We are losing our babies and a losing effort behind just making kids out of wedlock and just having them anywhere and everywhere. Y'all look at this beautiful princess on my screen because I want y'all to hear her story. This comes out of my home city, Fort Worth, Texas. Somebody from Fort Worth, please come hold this L. Texas takes another damn L. My home city. A father of 5 from Fort Worth is in jail, charged in connection to the death of his 3-year-old daughter. I'm gonna try to be good. I'm gonna try not to do it. Family members say that this guy that y'all see on my screen with this less than human looking face, Billy Joiner Jr. Billy Joiner Jr. should never have been allowed to be around his daughter, and her name is Elena. Beautiful little princess. But why was she allowed to be around her thugging ass father? He just started punching her, punched her. She had a heart attack. She went into cardiac arrest, according to Miranda Malone, her aunt. Relatives say that they're not sure what caused Joyner to snap Sunday as her mother, Marissa, stood by while it happened. We'll get to the mom here in a minute. Y'all, hold on. Bookmark that. We'll come back to it. Marissa was saying the whole time that Billy was beating Elena, he was fighting like she was another grown man, according to her uncle, Matthew Malone. She was just saying, Daddy, I love... God damn, this is hard to read. I'm going to put this baby's picture back up here. While this baby was being beat up, she was saying, Daddy, I love you. I'm sorry. I love you. And he was just wailing on her. I don't even know how to read the rest of this. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. Hold on. So you mean to tell me that the mom, the biological mother of this kid, I'm sorry, y'all, was standing there and watching this? You don't grab a knife. You don't grab a gun. You don't grab a chair. You don't grab a pot, a pan, and attempt to rescue and save your child and put your own life on the line? What mother would stand aside and watch this happen? What human on earth would stand by and watch that happen? I'm going to try to read this one more time, and I'm going to try to read it properly. The mother, Marissa, was saying the whole time as she stood by and watched that Billy was beating that baby like he was fighting another grown man. And the baby was just saying, "Daddy, I love you. I'm sorry. I love you." And he was just wailing on her. Guys, that put hate in your heart. And if y'all wonder how I'm able to do this, I can't. I don't know. I come here, I put the story together, and I do the best that I can to try to read it. I don't even want to tell you what my thoughts are about what I hope happens to him, and happens to him very, very soon. Like, even prison justice don't seem like it's good enough. Elena's family says that her siblings, the couple's 4 other children, all of them under the age of 5, saw what happened. Four other children, 5 children in total, under the age of 5. Child after child after child after child after child. The older daughter remembers my sister just saying, "Stop crying and he'll stop hitting you. Stop crying and he'll stop hitting you," said Miranda, who struggles to understand why her sister didn't stop the assault. Relatives say that baby Elena arrived at the hospital with 2 black eyes, a broken arm, and bruises around her ears. She suffered a traumatic brain injury, they say, and doctors removed a portion of her skull just to try to calm the swelling down. Her feet, family members say, had several burns that were more than 24 hours old, revealing the abuse had gone on for days. This is why I want the mother arrested, and this is why I'm so upset. And just me knowing this story, and it's in my home city, I'm going to ask and I'm going to pray that the police arrest the mother as well and charge her for neglect and abuse and watching this shit happen and didn't do anything about it. That's just as well as a life sentence as anyone I've ever seen. You see something and you ignore it and you just allow it to happen to your own kid. There ain't that much being scared in the world, especially when you weren't scared to lay down and have sex with a thug, get pregnant by a thug, and keep pumping out babies for a thug, but you're scared to protect your child from a thug? How does that make any sense? The mother needs to be charged. Her face needs to be out there. Her name needs to be out there. The article where I get this from is dfwcbslocal.com. The next update I should be doing on this is they arrested the mother and the mother faces life in prison. That's the next story I should be doing when I update this. He has struck her in... Y'all not gonna believe it. He had struck her in the bathtub and burned the skin off of her feet. Lo and behold, another bathtub story. He stuck her in the bathtub and burned the skin off of this baby's feet. Ashley Lyons, a cousin of Elena's mother, says she wants justice for the little girl. She was brutally beaten and tortured. Her last few months of life were awful. He tortured her. The Joiner family says he has a history of assault. So y'all need to catch this. Court records show last year he was charged with choking Elena's mother, hitting her with a plastic brook, they spelled it B-R-O-O-K, and punching her. He was ordered to attend parenting classes. Then, that December, he was charged with threatening a potential witness with a gun. Let me be very clear. I want to make sure this is out there. He was not supposed to be in the home. He also had an ankle monitor on. What does that mean, y'all? What does that mean? For all of my amazingly smart people in my chat, if he wasn't supposed to be in the home and he had an ankle monitor on and he was in the home, who's at fault? I want to see if y'all know. Who's at fault? Is it his fault? Who's at fault? That's right. Mom allowed this man to come back in the home and murder this kid. Therefore, the mom is responsible. Took her child to the thug zoo and left her child in there with the thug lion and wonder, well, why did the thug lion do that? Well, because it's in the thug lion nature to murder and maul anything that has a heartbeat. It doesn't know any better. That's what a thug lion does. Relatives say he was still wearing the ankle bracelet when he was arrested. So they knew where he was and mom allowed it to happen. Isn't that something? They believe someone should have been monitoring it and realized he had moved back into the children's home, violating conditions that they say were set by Child Protective Services, the mother. Don't blame this on, oh, they should have been reading the ankle monitor. No, the ankle monitor did what it was supposed to do, and it monitored where he was. That way they could verify it and prove it. It is then up to the mother not to allow and open your door up. But let's keep going. Family members started reaching out to CPS before the incident even happened. So CPS was aware there was something going on in the home. So it sounds like they're trying to set this up to sue CPS. Ain't that a bitch? They won't set this up to arrest the mom, but they're going to set CPS up so they can get some money out of this. CPS confirmed to the news that it does have a history with Elena's family. This week, it placed her 4 siblings, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and an 8-month-old baby into foster care. Family members say Elena's parents are currently expecting their 6th child. They're expecting their 6th child. You're scared of this man. You've been abused by this man. This man has a long history of violence against him on his rap sheet. But you're not scared to lay down and keep producing children? Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not even 5. This BI, and y'all know the rest, is on child number 6. Please, somebody let me know that y'all heard what I just said. I am so lost with that. But we'll continue to make excuses. Thank you for the breeder. We'll continue to make excuses for the breeder. A spokesperson said the agency is investigating Elena's death and couldn't release additional information about the case. CPS told one of the family members at one point that we were harassing that family and that those kids are just fine. Relatives say Elena, along with her older sister, spent the first 2.5 years of her life being raised by their great-grandmother because of an ongoing CPS investigation. So it sounds like the kids would have been fine if they would have left them with the great-grandmother. For a while, their aunt Miranda lived with them as well. This sounds like a whole jacked up family. So the aunt had to live with them. So the aunt wasn't able to take care of her grown ass self. She was so sweet. The sweetest little girl always, and always happy. Last year, the family said that the girls were allowed to return to their mother. It feels like the system just failed those kids. Oh, wow. So we're going to blame the system again. This is a failure on CPS, not the people who are putting these children in this position to even be investigated. I keep telling you guys, you can't keep blaming CPS. Do y'all remember when I told y'all that you can't keep opening GoFundMes and flooding GoFundMe with these frivolous GoFundMe campaigns, because it's going to make it to where when people need it to live and to make some life improvements, to get some surgeries, they're not going to be able to do it because we flooded it with funerals. We are never going to allow this system to work because we continue to keep creating the problem that the system is not built. The system is not built to take care of this many people. There's not enough workers, there's not enough money, there's not enough funding. But one thing you can do is you could ask the people to start being responsible for their gestation, for their procreation. They could use condoms, they could use birth control, they could get them a vasectomy, get their tubes tied after the second kid, after the first kid. There are plenty of options on the table. But don't ignore all of the options and then talk about how, oh, it's the system's fault, y'all. It's the system's fault. You keep doing that, and all it's going to do is make the problem worse. It's going to exacerbate the problem. Now, I think I'm going to skip the rest of this. It's not even important. But Joiner is charged with injury to a child and a first-degree felony, and if convicted, he could face life in prison. Where's the mom at as far as her being charged? Let me give you the fair usage. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And also, if you guys are watching, don't forget, please hit that thumbs up and look at the number of people who are watching. If y'all would, help click that thumbs up. We need 1 thumb up for everybody watching. So if y'all can help us reach that goal, that would be awesome. But I want you guys to remember, we don't want to depend on this system. We have to fix this ourselves, because if we don't, and we're just going to ride out and depend on a governmental or a state system, we're doomed. We are going to be doomed. Let's get it.
I'm Brooke Katz. Doug is on assignment tonight. And first up, the family of a 3-year-old girl from Fort Worth who died says the system failed her. Her father is charged with causing...
I'm going to let y'all hear that again. They said, who failed her? They didn't say the mom failed her. The family members failed her. They said the system failed. So I guess mama ain't got nothing to do with this, right? Mom didn't fail her at all. Mom let the killer come back into the home, make another kid with her, kill one of her kids, and probably abuse the others. But somehow the mom is absolved. It's the system's fault. Interesting.
I'm Brooke Katz. Doug is on assignment tonight. And first up, the family of a 3-year-old girl from Fort Worth who died says the system failed her. Her father is charged with causing the injuries that killed her. But as Andrea Lucia learned, she should have never been with her.
He just started punching her punched her. She had a heart attack. She went into cardiac arrest.
Miranda and Matthew Malone say their 3-year-old niece, Elena, died at the hands of her father, Billy Joiner Jr., while her mother stood by.
Marissa was saying that the whole time that Billy was beating Elena, and he was fighting her like he was another grown man. She was just saying, "Daddy, I love you. I'm sorry, Daddy, I love you," and he was just wailing on her.
The older daughter, Haley, remembers my sister just saying, "Stop crying and he'll stop hitting you. Stop crying and he'll stop hitting you." So, you know, I don't understand. That's literally, I'm at a loss for words.
The little girl's relatives say Elena arrived at the hospital with 2 black eyes, a broken arm, bruises, a brain injury, and severe burns.
She was brutally beaten and tortured. Her last few moments of her life was awful. He tortured her.
Joiner has a history of assault. Court records show last year he's accused of choking Elena's mother, hitting her with a broom, and punching her. Later, he was charged with threatening a potential witness with a gun.
And let me be very clear. I want to make sure this is out there. He was not supposed to be in the home. He also had an ankle monitor.
2 months ago, a judge ordered Joiner could have that GPS device removed, and relatives suspected he was back at home abusing his children.
Family members started reaching out to CPS before the incident even happened. So the CPS was aware that there was something going on in the home.
But they just kept letting it happen.
CPS confirms it has a history with the family. This week, it placed 4 of Elena's siblings, all under the age of 5, in foster care. A spokesperson said the agency is investigating Elena's death, but couldn't comment further.
CPS told one of the family members at one point that we're harassing that family and that those kids are just fine.
Family members say Elena spent the first 2.5 years of her life being raised by her great-grandmother. Despite repeated abuse, her mother, they say, kept going back to her father.
We could not keep her away. I'm going to be honest.
While Elena lay in a hospital bed, relatives say her mother appeared in denial.
She kept saying, "There's hope, she's going to be okay. It's okay." And I'm like, no.
The hospital yesterday removed her life support. Within hours, her aunt says she was gone. In Fort Worth, Andrea Lucia.
Family members of a 3-year-old girl who died yesterday in Fort Worth are sharing the details of the abuse they say she endured. Billy Joiner Jr. is now in jail on charges related to his daughter's death. Our Andrea Lucia has been looking into this. She joins us live, and I do want to warn you, this story is a disturbing one. Andrea, just absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, this has been a difficult one. Family members say the abuse goes back for years, so much so that Elena's aunt remembers picking her up from the hospital the day that she was born because CPS was already involved and investigating. She told me it was just about a year ago that Elena's mother regained custody of Elena and her siblings, and that her father was not supposed to have any access.
He tortured her for a 2-day period.
For days.
For maybe possibly longer.
Family members who spoke to me via Zoom say they now know in the days before Elena's death, Billy Joiner placed his 3-year-old daughter in a bathtub with scalding hot water, leaving the skin of her feet burned. Sunday, they say he snapped and began punching the little girl.
Marissa was saying that the whole time that Billy was beating Elena, and he was fighting her like he was another grown-ass man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
He was.
But she was just saying, "Daddy, I love you. I'm sorry, Daddy, I love you," and he was just wailing on her the whole time she's pleading.
And that's what we think of when we think of her last moments. She was begging, "Daddy, I love you."
Elena's aunt says her niece's older sister remembers their mother telling her, "Stop crying and he'll stop hitting you." Elena, they say, was beaten so badly she suffered a brain injury and went into cardiac arrest.
Elena is one of 5 children. CPS confirms this couple has an 8-month-old, a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old. They had 3-year-old Elena and her 4-year-old older sister. Family members tell us there is a 6th child on the way. CPS says it now has the surviving children in custody. It also confirms it has a history with this family. We are looking into that history. We're going to have more on it and more from our interview with this family coming up at 10. Reporting live, I'm Andrea Lucia, CBS 11 News.
Details just hard to believe, Andrea. Thank you so much.
Fort Worth police say 3-year-old Elena Joiner was brutally beaten by her father on Sunday.
Like, she was just a normal 3-year-old. You know, she just wanted to play. She just wanted to be loved.
On Zoom, I spoke with Joiner's heartbroken family.
She didn't deserve this, and we want justice for her.
Authorities say her father, 22-year-old Billy Ray Jr., beat his daughter to where she was showing no signs of life.
They did many tests on her to try to just see if there was any brain activity. She was pronounced brain dead.
The beating allegedly happened at Elena's home on Merrimack Street in Fort Worth. Elena's mom, we're being told, tried to save her.
That she began CPR and trying to save her and bring her back.
Family members tell us the couple has 5 children together and that mom is pregnant with their 6th child. They tried to get them help in the past.
To be clear, we have called CPS. Family members have called CPS. And we still ended up in this situation.
CPS is part of this investigation. Right now, Ray is facing injury to a child and evading arrest.
We don't agree with.
I'm going to try to back that up just a little bit so y'all can see that picture. Look at this. Look at this. The typical thug outfit. And that's what you continue to produce children with. Just kept doing it. No accountability, just kept doing it.
We don't agree with the charges that he has right now. You know, she's passed. We're never getting her back.
Joiner is being held here at the Tarrant County Correction Center. Authorities tell us this investigation is far from over and they expect to upgrade charges. New details are expected to come out next week. We're in Fort Worth. I'm Malini Basu.
And CPS told us they have a history with the family and that the 4 other children in the household have been removed and placed into foster.
All right, so here's what I'm going to give you guys. Because I know some people might have been wondering, where am I going to go with this? Because I try to do more than just tell you guys a news story, because you can get that from anywhere. I believe that most people are actually here to hear what my opinion is about these stories rather than just the stories themselves. So here's the thing. Let me say this to address the first point. I got to give a shout out to one of our moderators in the chat. And I don't know if anybody else said this, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. But somebody asked, can we start a petition to get the mother arrested? Absolutely. Change.org. Now, we're going to have all of the information, like the mom's name and all of that stuff, so they'll know who we're asking for to be investigated and arrested. But change.org is meant for stuff like that, where you can put up a petition and have people who believe the same thing to vote this thing, and we can get signatures to be able to present and ask that this mother be arrested for what we believe to be a crime. And I hope that they look deeply into that, okay? So that is absolutely one thing that we as the AFC can do. Look at how many people we have here. Look at what we can accomplish just with us alone, okay? That's first thing. I don't want to just give you a story. So how about we talk about, instead of just looking at this, how do we prevent this? How do we keep babies like this from dying? So we can't save this child. We can't save baby Elena. But what we can do is we can use her horrible murderous death as an example and a cautionary tale of how to prevent going forward. So let me explain how we accomplish that. First and foremost, if you cannot afford to take care of yourself as a mother, in this situation, we're going to hold both sides accountable. If the mom can't afford to take care of herself before she had these kids, she damn sure shouldn't be having children if she can't pay all of her own bills by herself. The reason why a lot of these mothers, and it's not all, I have a lot of amazing women as awesome examples in my chat that'll tell you it's not these type of women in my chat, but there are too many women out there who only have these children for the benefits that they can collect off of these children. One of the things that they get is a lot of benefits and protection, Section 8 food stamps, be able to get housing, to be able to get some type of help and assistance just because you have children. That is a huge benefit that people like this continue to take advantage. You'd also have to ask yourself, why did you continue to keep making kids? If you couldn't afford the first one, couldn't afford the second one, why didn't we stop it? Another thing we could also do is we could also push this legislation through. We can ask for our lawmakers to make it possible to where when people continue to take advantage of the benefits that our tax dollars are paying for, we can actually say, cut them off. 2 kids, cut them off. They want to keep having kids after that, that's on them, but we damn sure aren't going to help you, and we're going to cut you off, and there should be penalties. The only thing that scare people into doing the right thing, since they're just going to go with their biological nature and just act like they don't have any type of common sense home training or any type of civility, impose consequences, impose penalties. Ain't that the way that the shit works? You run a stoplight, what do? You get a damn ticket. They put that fiery under your behind. Don't pay the ticket, they gonna come in and issue a bench warrant and arrest you, right? Most people don't want to have to go through all of that to be apprehended. So therefore, you get less people that run stoplights. Aha. There should be a penalty to having more children than what you can take care of. Is it your responsibility? You're goddamn right. It is your responsibility. This is not some immaculate conception where you just opened your legs and Jesus sent you some sperm down from the heavens and clouds above. That's not the way that it works. You made a conscious choice to lay there and spread them legs open and let this man all goddamn day long. I bet you he didn't even have time to have a job. Huh? When did this fool have time to work or be anything productive? Huh? Being a thug all day, drinking beer, smoking weed, and fucking hoes. Did I say something that was factually inaccurate? That's what they rap about. That's what a lot of them that live that type of lifestyle rap about. I could be wrong, but they do talk about that shit quite a bit, yes? How about another preventative measure? Have fathers in the home that teach these women before they even get to this point that dudes like this aren't good to have children by, to be interested in. How about that? How about we teach these young women, these young mothers, before they get to the point of start having kids and being interested in thugs? Preventative measures. Like me, before my daughter becomes grown, guess what daddy's been doing for the past 14 and a half, almost 15 years? Showing my daughter what to do and teaching her the type of person you should be going for in a mate. Having goals and things like that. Growing yourself up into becoming something great. Building a platform for yourself, a basis for your own life before you ever think about trying to bring somebody else into your circumference. Hello? Do y'all want me to keep going? Do y'all want to hold on to your panties tonight? Fellas, y'all better hold your boxers on. Because we about to get on to these fellas here real quick. Because DJ Just Jay, I don't believe in making excuses for men and thugs and irresponsible ass fathers. I think if a father gets caught up in a situation, it's because it's his damn fault for releasing his seed to unrighteous soil. Men, bring this on themselves, who end up and cry and complain about this child support system, we do it to ourselves. The point is to learn from it, grow from it, or listen before you even get to that point, before you start sticking your dick in anything that got a heartbeat, fellas, huh? Uh-oh. Y'all want me to keep going? Damn it, I think we need to keep going. Let's keep going. So what happens when instead of you making more and more babies, you get more and more food stamps? What if the more children you have, what if they just said, we're going to cut you off, period? You got 2 kids, we're going to give you a set amount of food stamps. Have another kid if you want to. And we're going to cut it off. Do you think more people will start thinking twice before they have kids between mothers and fathers? Yes, I believe so. Don't incentivize the bad behavior. It's going to invalidate your Section 8. Have more kids. Let me find out, let me find out, like the song says, that you got a man over there at that house. Let me find out that he over there busting you raw. Let me find out that he over there eating up all your kids' cereal and juicy juice. Let me find out that this fool over there beating your kids up. Let me find out that this fool got a criminal record. Let me find out that he got drugs in your house. Let me find out that he got illegal guns in your house. Let me find out that his ass ain't got a reputable job and paying taxes. Huh? Y'all want me to keep going? Have I said enough? Have I said enough to get my ass kicked yet? Is the city of Fort Worth going to kick my ass? I don't know. Is the family going to get mad and tell me, you need to take your video down, Just Jay? Our little feelings is hurt. We just don't like what you said out here in these YouTube streets, y'all. Oh, man. I think I should keep going. How about this? Instead of opening up GoFundMes, and I don't know why they closed down that GoFundMe. They had a GoFundMe up. Why ask for money for a death? And I think you should actually be disqualified from opening up a GoFundMe if you don't have life insurance. How about that? Huh? Preventative measures. We are not going to incentivize children being murdered. Why would this death ever stop when you could turn around and just open up a $100,000 GoFundMe? It seems like you're being rewarded for having dead children. I'm not saying their GoFundMe was $100,000, but there was somebody else in the state of Texas who did open up we'll talk about that on another story. But stop incentivizing the bad things. Ladies, you want these men to change their behavior? Don't reward them with sex when they are not reputable individuals of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If he is not a law-abiding citizen inside of your home, then he should not be inside of your panties, ladies. This fool continued to not be shit because he was rewarded for not being shit. You cut the incentive, and what do you get? Would you like to find out? How about we cut off all of the incentives for people making these bad decisions? I think it's a horrible decision if you can't take care of yourself to have children, and it's even more irresponsible that if you couldn't take care of the 1 kid you had, the 2 kids you have, if you continue to keep making kids, I think it's a horrible thing. And you should be shunned, and it should not be praised just because you have a bodily function and you can make it do things. We are rewarding bad behavior. So these are multiple ways, a multitude of ways to make sure that the city of Fort Worth, DFW in Texas, this is a multitude of ways to make sure that we don't present the next Elena, that we don't present the next thug with tattoos on his hand and have this horrible aura of an ain't shit person. We could end these bad mothers. We could end needing a system like CPS to step in just so they can legally come actually physically take your children out of your hands. We shouldn't need that. We don't want vigilante justice. We don't want people going to do it. So we put laws in place to make sure that the people don't put themselves and their lives in jeopardy by running into these people's house and snatching the children and kidnapping the children out of their hands. That's the only reason the system exists, is to make sure that we put up some protective measures. But it's not meant to continue to keep taking these children in. I feel like I've said a lot, and I hope that I gave you guys something more than just a news story. I spoke my mind, but I spoke from my heart. And I'm speaking from a father's standpoint. All I can do is hope that y'all will share Elena's story. I pray that you will understand Elena's story, what got her to this point, and how we can make sure that no other child becomes another Elena. Young princess, beautiful, beautiful princess. R.I.P. You guys keep those other children in your prayers. If there's more we can do, I'll let you guys know. And if we decide to push that campaign forward, or if the police don't decide to investigate the mom and potentially bring about charges, we'll definitely follow up with this and see what we can do, okay? But thank you guys for listening. Thank you for sharing this story. But we already know what's going to happen to him. Prison justice sounds like it's going to be about right, and there's a special place in hell for people like that.
You see, I'm just like you, born and raised right here in Oklahoma City, an Oklahoma City public school product, and a former Division I college basketball player. As a husband and a father, I know exactly what it feels like to make that daily living, make that daily grind to support your family. My experience in corporate finance and as a college professor has taught me one thing, and that we make it to be what we want it to be. Can you imagine a city government with no limitations, catering to access to resources and tools for people who look just like you? Who says we can't end homelessness with creative solutions? Who says we can't have a citywide mentoring program that will cater to all youth in Oklahoma City that will put them on a path to be successful? Who says that the criminal justice system can't be equitable and cater to all walks of life, no matter your income or your position as a family? And as your Oklahoma City mayor, I will put people over politics. My name is Jimmy Lawson, and I look forward to having your vote on February the 8th, 2022. For more information about my campaign and how to make a campaign contribution, please visit www.lawsonforokc.com. See you at the poll.
Exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.
What's going on, guys? This your boy, DJ Just J with Just Down TNT, and I am your humble host of the AFC podcast. And people ask me all the time, what is the AFC podcast? This is a platform for us to have open and candid conversations about children who are being taken advantage of by people who are in charge of protecting them. So sometimes we discuss the latest things going on in the news, but we advocate for children first. I get so many emails and comments from people that love what I do, and I want to continue to keep bringing content that matters to YouTube. And I would like to thank you in advance for your consideration to contributing to my platform. You can help support this channel by way of the links that are in the description box of each and every video. And also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I would like to thank you again and welcome to the AFC podcast, where we advocate for children first. We'll see you guys on the next stream. Peace.